As you can see, we're in the offices, but we're not facing out over the skyline of New York. Instead, we're looking at a monitor. And the reason we're going to do that is that today we're going to do something a little unusual. I'm going to critique a student piece. Now, if you're a member of thevj.com, you get these critiques for free. So certainly I'm encouraging you to sign up as a member. But I also think there's a lot to be learned from this. This was done by one of our students, Lesian. And we asked her if we could share the critique with you, and she said it was fine because she wanted everybody to learn from her mistakes and the things she had done well. She had never done this before, and the first time she did the video, I think it's her first commercial client. It's called Elizabeth Gregory House. It's a shelter for homeless people. It's a lovely story, and she did it extremely well for a student. It could have been a lot better. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at it twice. We're going to run it first in its totality. It only runs about 2.5 minutes. Watch the whole thing, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you minor mistakes that she made, things like cuts and jump cuts and stuff like that, which anybody can do. But I also want to talk to you more significantly at a macro change that could have been made here. Buried in this okay piece is what could have been a beautiful film. And this is really where we try to take the students at the VJ and at the boot camp and stuff like that. The world is full of fantastic stories to tell, and great video making is really about great storytelling. It's not just about pushing the button, recording things, and laying it down. And this is true not just for people who do video at thevj.com. This is the same kind of stuff we do whether we're dealing with the BBC or broadcasters, or next week we're going back to Britain to deal with British Forces Broadcasting. Even 20-year professionals can learn a lot about storytelling, and that's perhaps the most important part of what I want to talk to you about. But first, let's take a look at Lesian's student piece that she submitted to the VJ, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to rip it apart, okay?
My name is Frank Gregory. Elizabeth Gregory was my late wife, and she died in 1997, May 1997, so it's coming up on 20 years since she passed. The Elizabeth Gregory home, the transitional home that represented her principles, what she stood for, what she wanted to do as far as helping the needy, those who were less fortunate. So it worked out well.
They do care about the women and put them first and give them a refuge to prepare to go to change their lives out in the world.
We are focusing on at this very moment is community, and that's building not only the community within Elizabeth Gregory Home, but opening the doors to the community outside of Elizabeth Gregory Home. There is a librarian named Paige who comes here every week to work one-on-one with women. There are other community partnerships that keep evolving. One of them has been with St. Vincent de Paul, just a vital resource. And that has been particularly helpful for the women who live in our transitional housing program to help them move on to permanent housing and employment and being able to sustain a life beyond homelessness.
I always know that I have a place to go to where I could sleep, where I would feel secure and safe, instead of being out in the street. And I've never been out in the street. This is the first time I'm becoming homeless. Having a stable living space is a huge difference.
The first time I met you was not long after I started, about a year and a half ago, and I met you in the day center.
Right.
The day center was really different, right?
Right.
We didn't have showers, we didn't have the second laundry,
Right.
We didn't have the sleeping room yet, we didn't have any of that, because the remodel wasn't finished.
Right.
Yeah.
I was walking, I was like at the food bank, and then I ran into somebody, and I just walked this way, and somebody says, "Hey, you should come down here." And sure enough, here's the day shelter, so.
The luckiest day of my journey brought me to the open doors of Elizabeth Gregory Home Day Center.
I was offered food and a place to cook it myself, clothing and hygiene items, free laundry facilities, free computer services, free telephone, and an address to put on my resume. But most importantly, I was offered the friendship and support of people who knew my situation but were willing to help. I was fortunate to be placed as a receptionist at EGH for 20 hours a week. Then came the next door. EGH offered me a full-time position as day center coordinator. That was nearly 7 years ago. And today I am the full-time operations manager, and I live with my husband in a 2-bedroom home. The most recent door was actually 4 doors. Thanks to a referral from EGH, I got the opportunity to purchase a car. It was the first time I was able to afford one since I became homeless. Now I feel truly that I am able to reclaim my life thanks to EGH.
Okay, so it's a nice piece. Now, Brett is going to rack it back, and we're going to take a look at it, and then we're going to rip it to pieces. Nothing personal for Lou. You did a great job, but for the beginning. But to me, there's a much better piece in here that could have been done, and as we say at the boot camps, if you want praise, show it to your mother. If you want to learn something, show it to us. So don't take this personally, but now we're going to rip this thing apart and show you what it could have been. Let's take a look at the beginning. As I said before, there are both macro problems and micro problems. We'll get past the graphics, because the graphics are terrible. Okay, pause for a second. This is a great start. This is Frank Gregory. He left it in memory of his wife. It's a lovely piece of the story. Frank should be throughout the piece. Just to have him at the beginning and lose him is a waste of a fantastic character. Great storytelling is made of characters. It's not made of content, per se. And this guy is a killer character. He's got a passionate story. I want pictures of his wife. I want him to go through the photo album. I want to talk about why he did this, okay? Let's continue.
She was my late wife, and she died in 1997, May 1997, so it's coming up on 20 years since she passed. Elizabeth.
Pause for a second. It's lovely. And now we begin this notion of going somewhere, which we think is really important in a film to carry their attention. But when she shoots it, she's got to let the guy leave frame. Otherwise, it's full of jump cuts. So in shooting this, and as you can see in lessons on thevga.com, we'll show you how to shoot people walking through frame, so we have edit points in it. The thing is jumpy. And when it's jumpy, it's jarring and disturbing. Can we release, please?
The transitional moment represented her principles, what she stood for.
See what I mean? Those are jump cuts, and they just detract from the quality of the piece.
Those who were less fortunate. So it worked out well.
They do care about the women and put them first.
Okay, pause for a second. The first thing when I'm looking at this is what happened to Frank. We're with him. We meet him in the beginning. He's walking into the Elizabeth Gregory house, and then he's gone. He's like he went to lunch, and we never see him again. That's crazy. I want to see Frank go through the place. He becomes a vehicle to go through the building and to meet people, and that's what this is really all about. Release, please.
Give them a refuge to prepare to go to change their lives out in the world.
We are focusing on it this very moment.
Pause for a second. When you go into a story like this, you're going to be required to do an interview with the executive director, which is what this woman is. I'm sure she's a lovely person, and she's great, but she is killing the story from the beginning because I want to see what the place is about. Her opinion, fine. Maybe we'll put her in later. Maybe we'll take a couple of sound bites from her. But to have her go on and on and on at the beginning of this thing, talking heads are death. Do not do this. Show me people and real stories. Can we zip ahead through her thing? Is that possible? Yeah, let's drag the timeline. Yeah. There she is, 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 there she is. More like, okay, now, pause for a second. Okay, now we get to the, Michelle, is that her name? The first, and it'll come up. The first, there are 3 characters. This film is really about 4 characters. 3 women whose lives are saved by the Elizabeth Gregory house and the guy in memory of his dead wife who made it possible. It's like a movie, and it should read like a movie. And to get to the movie, we got the guy, and let's have the 3 women whose lives were saved by what this guy and his wife brought into the world. We lose the director, forget it. Stick her at the end if you have to put her in. But now, let's get to the first person. Okay, let's look at the first character, right?
To help them move on to permanent housing.
Pause for a second. Do not do this. This is a dead hall. There's nothing going on here. This is a living death. I want people in the film. This is terrible. Okay, release, please.
And being able to sustain.
We're back to her. Yeah, you keep going. Right. Okay, Justine. Pause for a second. This is great. This is somebody whose life has actually been changed by the thing that we're talking about. This is one of the 3 stars or 4 stars of your movie. But when you shoot Justine, I need her to make eye contact with you, the viewer, the way I make an eye contact with you. This is what video is all about. It's all about talking to people. It's not about her looking at her ear and the side of her head and she's looking down. Nice character, great catch, bad framing. Release, please.
Where I could sleep, where I would feel secure and safe.
Okay, pause for a second. Actually, we just cut a video about this, about flipping the video to make people look in the same way. She's left, she's right, she's left, she's right. It's just messy and it's not necessary. Release, please.
Out in the street, and I've never been out in the street. This is the first time I'm becoming homeless. Having a stable...
Jump cut. Don't do that. That's the reason we do the 5 shots, so we have cutaways. But the thing that really annoys me with this is there's no eye contact between Justine and you, the viewer. If I want to communicate with you, I got to look at you. Justine has got to look at the viewer. She's got to look into the lens of the camera. Okay, release, please.
Living space is a huge difference.
The first time I met you was not long after I started, about a year and a half ago, and I met you in the day center.
Right.
The day center was really different. Right. We didn't have showers.
Pause for a second. Again, what is with the empty showers, right? Do not do show and tell. We're not doing slideshows here. I want to stay with Justine. I want to see what she does during the day. It's not that difficult to do. Release, please.
Laundry. We didn't have the
Great. Laundry machines.
We didn't have any of that.
You don't have to illustrate every word. Everybody knows what a laundry looks like. Pause for a second. This is great stuff, okay? Here's the second, I think Mary is her name. Take a look at this and look at the difference between the way Mary has been dealt with and the way Justine has been dealt with. Can you release, please?
Then I ran into somebody and I just walked this way.
Pause for a second. Look at how she makes eye contact with you. You cannot look away. That is what film and video is all about. That's what great documentary filmmaking is all about. It's an emotional connection with the character. You see the difference right here between the way Justine is shot and the way that Mary is shot. This is great stuff. Okay, release, please.
Somebody says, hey, you should come down here. And sure enough, here's the day shelter. You know, so.
The luckiest day of my journey brought me to the open doors of Elizabeth Gregory Home Day Center.
I was offered food and a place to cook it myself, clothing and hygiene items, free laundry facilities, free computer...
Pause for a second. Again, I know what a computer looks like. You don't have to show it to me. But this is our third character, and it's not badly done. What you want to do is you want to take these 3 characters and lace them together along with Frank and make like a lovely tapestry of how this place saved their lives and brought them together as a kind of community. You see how this could be? I mean, it could be a movie. And that's how you should think when you're making your videos, not as a representational 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the whole point of editing, is to lace the things together and make them bind together in a beautiful way. The potential here is enormous. The Lucia, great student, and stay with the VJ, we're going to make you much better by these critiques and stuff like that. The potential, the story that was in front of you could have made you cry. It's okay. I'm sure they'll be very happy with it, but we can do much better with them. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, release, please.
Services, free telephone, and an address to put on my...
Okay, pause for a second. This is not bad. It's not great to throw somebody against the wall to have them do an interview. At least she makes eye contact, which is encouraging, but the white wall behind, it makes it look like it's a photo for a passport. So you always want depth behind it. The best of these 3 is the one with Mary, where she's in the bed, she's obviously beating her up, she's kind of crawling around. You feel like you are there in the moment. The worst one is the first one, where she's like completely looking off into space. So in all 3 cases, the most important thing here is to create a rapport between the characters and the viewer. If the viewer is engaged and cares about the characters, and so much of this is the visuals, then they'll stick with the story and they'll care about the story. It's more here than just representing sound bites and giving the facts. Okay, release, please.
But most importantly,
nicely done.
I was offered the friendship and support of people who knew my situation but were willing to help. I was fortunate to be placed as a receptionist at EGH for 20 hours a week. Then came the next door. EGH offered me a full-time position as day center coordinator. That was nearly 7 years ago. And today I am the full-time operations manager, and I live with my husband in a 2-bedroom home. The most recent door was actually 4 doors. Thanks to a referral from EGH, I got the opportunity to purchase a car. It was the
out of frame. This one is nicely cut, unlike when he comes in the beginning. Okay, release, please.
Became homeless. Now I feel
out of frame. Very nice. Much better.
That I am able to reclaim my life.
It's a little low. This rule of thirds thing we talked about yesterday, we want her more here. Okay, can we pause for a second? It's a nice piece. And Lou, as a student, it's a great first step, but there's a lot we will take you into a lot more sophisticated filmmaking and video making, and you can see where. in general, when you have an assignment like this, the first thing you want to do is you want to go, and you always say spend 20 minutes, spend an hour, spend 2 hours, meet the characters, and then sit down and map out, tell me how you could make the best film, the most compelling story out of this possible. It's about people. It's about connecting people's stories with the viewer, and about making the viewer care about it. All the material, it's not a bad piece. I mean, it's okay. But all the material was here to make a killer film. You had the characters, you had the story, you had the access. It's all about execution. So, Lou, nice first one. We're going to take you to a much higher level of sophistication. And if you want to learn how to do this and get these kind of critiques yourself, thevj.com, go check it out, go sign up, 10-day free membership, and also the boot camps. It's not a bad idea. I'll see you next time.